Hey there, it's G. Murrell. Welcome to Chapter 4 of Music, Lyrics, and the Stories Behind the Songs. Today, we're going to talk about Bo because Bo knows. And Bo appeared actually on my album, Standing on the Edge. And I wrote it back in 89 or 90 for the fishermen and the shrimpers that I had been hanging out with on Hilton Head. And the three, it's not like Bo was a composite character of three people I knew. One's name was Jeff Carter, who also was known as Cuda. And his first mate, Charlie. Plus Jimmy Reese, who is the guy that hired me originally to play at Hudson's, and he was also a fisherman and did charters, as well as Fuzzy Daniels, who is probably the premier fisherman on Hilton Head. I mean, as far as charters and what he did. And they all had this language that kind of invaded mine. Now, I never had a Southern accent. I grew up in Southern Florida, or in Central Florida, moved to California when I was 21. Never had a Southern accent until after spending summers on Hilton Head, which was kind of funny because I would come back and I would have a twang in my voice, but I would be speaking, California slang. So, but, and then the longer I would stay in California, that would go away. But the thing was, their language and their words really kind of infected my vocabulary. For example, they call each other Bo, which is where the name came from. So, they get on the radio and be like, go ahead, Bo. Also, some of the language, like I referred to a place called The Hump, which is 26 miles. It's a live bottom reef, 26 miles off the coast of Hilton Head in the Atlantic Ocean. We used to dive there. I don't remember the name, what we called it, but it was something foo-foo-y, for tourists. But it was known as the Hump because it was a live bottom reef. And I think it was 80 feet at low tide and 100 feet on the sand at high tide. Used to love diving there. Biggest stingray I've ever seen in my life was a southern stingray with about a 10 to 12 foot wingspan and a barb about that big on the back of it, and just kind of cruising by and checking us out. Back to the story. Sorry. A glass eye is what I refer to in the song. That's a trophy fish. Also, blowing smoke means full throttle, heading home. That's where all of the language came from. And it's funny because about a year after I wrote it, I had never heard of Bo Jackson, and I'm playing out on Hilton Head on the dock, and somebody comes up on the dock wearing a shirt that says Bo Knows, and I went, all right. not even knowing. The other thing is when we recorded it, two things about the recording session that I remember. One was we wanted to have a drunken sailor chorus at the end of it. So I would go out, the studio I finished the recording at in Savannah, Phil Hadaway was the producer. I went out into the music store that was attached to the recording studio and would grab all the sales guys that weren't working. This was at Roadie's Music in Savannah. And they came back and we just recorded this whatever off tune. We wanted to make it sound like a drunk fisherman choir. Another thing about that song is on the recording, we had my friend Maura Kropke play a violin line that was beautiful, and then we added string pads that had been sampled underneath it, so it made it sound like a full orchestra, but at the same time we had the texture of the bow going across the strings. That was a brilliant move on Phil Hadaway's part. The other thing about this song is that even though it's in E, I capo 2 frets, and I play it in D to get that hammer-on effect, which is like, that in the intro. And it's tough to write a sea shanty in 6/8 time and not have it sound like calypso. So I wrote it and recorded a demo, and I'm listening to it and I'm going, that sounds way too much like calypso. So I went back and I changed, and it happens. I mean, it's tough. There's only about 8 chords. And I went back and changed some of the melodies so it wouldn't be like so reminiscent with respect to John Denver. This is Bo. Whoopsie. Out on the sea, new day is breaking, and Bo and his mate seem to be making 10 to 12 knots with the wind from the west, caught in the beam seas and doing their best. And it's off to the hump, the D's as they sing, and they're going for Spanish, Wahoo and King, or maybe a glass eye to hang on the wall. The sea is his mother, he's hearing its call. his father before him, the seas in his blood. The waves to the fore and the tides turning on them, and Bo and his mate, they're blowing smoke homeward. The dolphins are riding the wake from the bow, and passing the shrimp boats, they enter the sound. And the tourists are gone from their day at the beach, the sun sinking low, now it's well out of reach. Bo and his mate have done at the end, but tomorrow they'll do it all over again, yeah. And it's high, oh, he's sailing away. He's hoping to bring on the catch of the day. Crash through the waves with a thud like his father before him, the seas in his blood. And it's high, oh, he's sailing away. He's hoping to bring on the catch of the day. Crash through the waves with a thud like his father before him, the seas in his blood. Bo knows. Go ahead, Bo. Please, if you like this series, like and subscribe to this channel. Also, hit the little bell below you so you'll get notifications every time I put up a new song. New one coming in a couple of days. Moments, Fire Eyes, Come to Me, which I wrote when I think I was 18. And my sister wants to hear that one, so I'll probably next, or Fire Eyes. But thanks so much for watching, and thanks for being a part of this series with me.